Alright, hello and welcome to Ben's OP Game Show, recorded live, right here, every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, twitch.tv/TheGameFanatics. On this week's show, I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil 7, reviewing it, going over it, and how much I've played too much of it in the last 4 days. It's crazy that it's only been out 4 days, and I've played so much of it, about 20 hours throughout multiple different playthroughs. It's a bit ridiculous. And taking one last look at Nioh as we get so close to its impending launch. My game of the year, hopefully, unless Resident Evil 7 is better. I don't know. I don't know yet. But first, let's take a look at some of the top stories of the week as I load up all my fancy doodads and video mabobs. So this week, we got another trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda. And it's another in a long line of trailers we've been getting, and I really like it. You know, this trailer's great. It shows off the story. It doesn't show off a ton of the story. Fantastic job here. But it does bring back a subject I enjoy talking about probably too much. How very bizarre Mass Effect Andromeda has been this entire time. So it's just kind of, you know, it's awesome to see more of the story. It's still unclear. They're not going super in-depth with it. I wish the villain wasn't an all-powerful being. I've said this from the start. It should not be Space Hitler. That should not be the enemy. This should be more like Star Wars or it's more like Star Trek rather than Star Wars. You know, that's what made the first game's plot so interesting, was I think it had a focus, a centralized villain to go after. And then it was, oh no, the Reaper Space Hitler's here. So fine, whatever. I digress about that. I think Mass Effect 1 is the best plot of all three. And all those people saying that they didn't want to show anything, to not spoil the game, they seem to have now shown a bunch, and they keep showing more. And they're going to be showing more. That argument is completely gone. They just happen to be showing off stuff about this game way late. And I don't really understand the strategy there or anything like that. Whoa. How do you do that? All right, one day I'll figure out how computers work. But it's great. It's nice to have consistent updates with this game and its PR strategy in general, because the game comes out really soon, in 2 months, like less than 2 months. And these updates really make it seem real. We haven't seen a lot of gameplay, and the stuff we've seen has some issues, most notably some very odd editing in the gameplay reveal trailer, particularly one scene where the guy hits an enemy and presumably kills him, and it just freezes him. He just stops. He doesn't move. He's not under a stasis or anything. He just stops moving. That's not very good, very promising to me. So that might be a little issues. And before launch, we should see a few more things. I said for a long time after last year's E3 that the game will be delayed. And since then, we've got quite a few trailers, and they are a little late. And as I said, a little broken in showing glitches that should not be shown in your trailer. However, I think we're still in a good place. If we don't hear about it going gold in early February, then we're not in a good place. But that should definitely happen. Seemingly? Remains to be seen. But I wouldn't be too worried here. There is the other oddity, which is the Andromeda Initiative as the... Whoa, how do you do that? Here you go. This is how things get broken and everyone dies. Should have picked a longer trailer is what I should have done. So the Mass Effect Andromeda Initiative is very strange. They're basically releasing 2 trailers that are about completely different things on the same day. And they compete with each other for no real reason. They should be alternating. There should be some space, some room to breathe between these trailers. And it seems it's very indicative of this entire botched PR campaign to me. Particularly if you go back the radio silence after a very shitty E3 showing that was half behind the shoulder computer shots, it does not instill any confidence. And even if you knew this game was going to release around March, not saying so and letting a lot of people in the industry and outside of it speculate on delays, other issues with the game, etc., that's not a good strategy. Also, these Andromeda initiative videos aren't even in-game. I believe they're just CG promo videos. Like, there's very clearly along the bottom not in-game footage. So there's really no reason why they couldn't have been released, unless they just weren't done, last fall, before N7 Day, to spruce up hype and to kill the delay rumors. Perhaps once a month would have been nice. But what do I know about anything about PR? I'm just saying it's very odd and it doesn't quite fit, and it seems like now they just backloaded their PR campaign to release 6 trailers within 4 months of the game coming out, which is a little absurd. And, you know, it looks very promising. I love Mass Effect, but it certainly had a long road to get here, and the results might just be as questionable as the PR campaign if we don't get some more solid looks at the gameplay within the next 2 months. Here's an Asari. Merry Christmas. But with that, let's get into the actual topics of the week and not the rambling style of this. I'm trying a new thing with this front segment. I don't know how it's working. Clearly, YouTube and Google Docs, little PowerPoint, not playing nice with me. And now I understand what it was doing, and I'm a moron. So that's, that's basically the news of the day. Not news. Not news at all. Moron, thanks. Film at 11. Going with Resident Evil 7. Day 1 patch. Dude, the Day 1 patch for Mass Effect Andromeda gonna be crazy. They better fix all those animations. I don't know why I'm in this weird pose now, but there's a lot of fucking issues with that. But a more excited, and we can even talk about the PR for Resident Evil 7 here too, going from Mass Effect to this, because they didn't show a lot of Resident Evil 7. They really didn't. But they had a demo. They had some gameplay. You kind of knew what to expect. And it worked out really well for him. My story with Resident Evil 7 is very strange. And a lot of, like, very few, if any, other people probably played this game the way I did. Because, like, first of all, I should say I love this game. I love it. And I hated the demo. And I hated PT. So that should be all on the table. But before that, I played this game to roughly the halfway point, and then I wanted to stream it. But I didn't want to stream further ahead of where I was, so I started the game almost over and streamed from there. And in that stream, I got further than I was the first time. And then I kept playing the game and leapfrogged my progress again. And then I was going to stream the game on the Kinda Funny Best Friends Twitch account, and I was like, I'll try and do a speed run because I think I'm at the very end. I wasn't at the very end, but I ended up getting even further than I was. Then I went back to my other save game, which was behind it. So I've effectively played this game almost 3 times through. Almost 3 complete playthroughs, about 20 hours total. The one campaign that I did finish, it was about 10 hours. And I'm going to finish my speedrun tonight and hopefully get that achievement for beating it under 4 hours. This game is phenomenal. I am a huge Resident Evil fan, and I think there are some concerns and issues with it not being super Resident Evil-y, but we can get to that later. However, what they've done to capture the original spirit of exploring a spooky place and finding items and turning them over is incredible. And I think it has tons of room to grow, and it can be so much more complicated and intricate as it goes forward. And that's kind of maybe a little goofy to say, like, oh, the next one's going to be this. Well, the next one could be amazing. And it could be even more amazing because this game is incredible. Truly incredible. I loved basically every second of it, even going back through the game and finding new secrets or new routes of like, oh, I don't, if I unlock this, then I can go over there. And if I kill this guy now, I won't have to fight him later. Or if I wait till he does this, then I can explore the house and I'm safe until this happens. Like, you start to see all the story beats. And as fun as it is to explore this entire, I don't know, house, I was gonna say world, but it's, you know, it's very micro. It's so much fun to explore it and to see, and like these undiscovered things, the jump scares, the stuff that happens that you can only capture that first time. Some amazing, amazing stuff. And it basically takes you through the best of Resident Evil. You know, like, it's got a house, it's got a little cabin place, it's got some other things as the game goes on. Yeah, and they did such a fantastic job, and it's almost incredible because, as I said, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I love even 5 and 6, you know, like, I'll defend 6. 6 is a broken mess, but I love it. Not as much as the other ones, but I mean, how could you? It's what they've managed to do here does bring so much new life into it, with like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre influences and some stuff like that. And it all ties in with the story. Like, some of these things that are happening seem ridiculous, but it ties in not only with the Resident Evil story as a whole, which is still very vague on, but in its own little story. And it's nice to see these nods. I wish some nods were more direct in terms of enemies. Like, there's this one enemy that kind of has an arm that's mutated and weird that looks like Krauser or Nemesis arm. There's some Nemesis eye stuff going on too in the game. But I wish they took that a little further. There's one enemy in particular that I feel like could have been a licker, and just I can defend 6, but I won't now. Who cares? One of that one enemy that crawls on the floor could have been a licker. I'm not saying he should have been a giant pink weird tongue monster. It basically is a licker, but it doesn't look like it enough. If they just gave it a tongue and had that tongue lapping around and maybe had him crawl on walls and ceilings, that'd be incredible. But that's just me wanting to see more Resident Evil stuff. As a huge fan, this game does not end with a rocket launcher, and I think that's kind of sacrilege. But there's nothing. There's very few things like this experience, and there's other games like Amnesia, which I really didn't like, that has the whole hiding. This game has that in spades, where the guy jumps through the wall and then you're running away and you're hiding behind the thing, and even when you're hiding from the wife in the shadows, she's got the light. Super, just so much fun to play, and it's not even that scary, because eventually, after the first 2 or 3 hours, it starts breaking down into, I know what to do, I know where I'm going, I know what's happening, let me get there. And you have to deal with item management in a way that you haven't since 3. I mean, some of this stuff is in 4, and it mostly feels like if you were to remake 1 with more combat in first person, and that's the biggest compliment, especially since I played the game 3 times. I've done essentially a speed run now of the game, and it's just as fun. Knowing the story beats and knowing what's going to happen doesn't devalue it at all. It's just as fun that first time through, and the second time through, you're knowing like, oh, I know what to do here, I know what to do there. The third time through is Crazy Town. Now you know everything, and you're just finding out. I can't wait to go and finish my speed run, or to go find all the bobbleheads. I'm gonna look up a guide and find all the bobbleheads. There's so much to do here. It really isn't like a little game. Sure, you can beat it in 10 hours, but I think, and I'm not even a guy who goes and finishes games multiple times. That's the crazy thing. I don't. I usually do not do that. But this has so much, like, this scene right here is exactly what I'm talking about. This doesn't have to happen. He cut off my leg, then I had to go grab the leg, and he's like offering his little first aid med, and so I can crawl over like a wounded puppy and heal my leg back up. This doesn't need to happen. The first boss fight has 2 ways that I know of for it to happen that are completely different and incredible in how different, but the same, but like just experiences. And the other boss fights kind of have their own thing too, and they're very Resident Evil-y. They're very Resident Evil. Oh, I was going, well, something about greatest hits. It is a greatest hits in a way with the environment and all that. It does retread. I think areas to like go further from this, I would love to see a more complex house, more like the mansion in Resident Evil 1, because this, while this is amazing, it's the second time through, and even this time through, you start to see how small it is. Like, it is 2 stories with I guess 3 stories if you count the little basement area. And the next area is pretty linear and like 7 rooms. It falls into the trap that a lot of Resident Evil games fall into. And Resident Evil 1 did this, where it was mansion, and then like outside kind of linear area, and then the, what was it, the little dormitory area. And the dormitory had not as many rooms. It wasn't as complicated, but it was a little slice of the mansion. And this game just feels like this mansion or big house is basically the cabin or that dormitory in Resident Evil 1. Like, it's not as big, and I would love to see them go further with it. There's a portion towards the middle. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. The portion towards the middle that is incredible and so smart and very evocative of Revelations 1, without spoiling it. This looks a little framey, but whatever. That's so fucking smart. The middle of the game is so smart. It's not even the middle. It's like the last third. So many great decisions. And that's exactly my point. What, my leg never got cut off? Time to replay it. Fuck yes. Your leg can get cut off, and it's like, it doesn't have to happen. There's so many weird little things that you might not ever even see. Like, there's things too. I fought this one boss, I won't even say what it is, 3 times. I'm still not sure what it's doing at one stage of this fight. And I've heard even a completely different fight, the one with the pillar in it, there's supposedly some way to do it that's not the way like a lot of people are going to see it. I'm like, that's so incredibly interesting, and it seems very much encouraging, just like all the, people created a scene around Resident Evil 1 of, oh, this is like beat the game without using ink ribbons, or beat the game in under this time. And even, actually back then they did give you bonuses for beating the game in a short amount of time. That's what they're doing with the trophies and finding all these collectibles and finding all the upgrades. You can upgrade your stamina and stuff by finding these little treasures or using the little antique coins. I think the rewards with that are very limited, and I'd love to see more of that, like more unlockables. I'd love to see like the sequel to this game, if they don't fuck it up, could be so amazing. And the fact that I played 20 hours of this game, basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a little bit today, is unbelievable. And I think 4 is my favorite, and this might be my close second now. It's so fucking good. There are, not since maybe Bayonetta, which I love, did I immediately go back and want to play again when I beat it. There are other games, I love Dark Souls, but I don't beat Dark Souls and like immediately start a new round. That's not a thing I do anymore, or really I've ever since I was 12. But, oh god. Primo good shit. I think there's some problems with the story. I would have loved to have seen more Resident Evil characters, more classic characters. Like, there's really no reason for this to be a 7. It really should just be a reboot. It basically is a reboot with a 7 on it. I don't understand the decision behind that, besides that you can put the 7 in the logo and make it look cool. There's really no reason for that. And the few references we do get, they're so sideways and weird that it's like, this might as well be in a reimagining. And I think the series has gone on long enough that we can start it kind of over and maybe retell it. There's one character in this game that part of me, I'm like, man, she looks kind of like Rebecca. I wish this was Rebecca. I wish this was this. I wish this had, I know it's dumb, but I love the Resident Evil story and how just incredibly incomprehensible it is. But I love it. I love seeing Chris and Jill. I would have loved to seen Sheva. Anyone. anyone I would have loved to have seen. More references, more things into it. I would have loved that. But, and that's the thing that bothers me about it being 7. It's so self-contained and really does nothing to kind of tie itself in. It almost is like shoehorned in of like, oh, put an umbrella here, you know? Yeah, I would have loved to see Leon and Rebecca again. Instead, we get someone who may or may not be, who cares about spoil? This is not, it may or may not be Chris. It doesn't look like him, but it can't really be anyone else. But, and like, that's a cool nod and all. But man, this is like 7. This is Resident Evil 7. This isn't Resident Evil, a side story in Louisiana or whatever. You know, this is a main entry. And the fact that there's one Resident Evil character in this, and there isn't even a reference to like the BSAA or whatever. There's the Wesker reference. There's a couple Raccoon City references. That one boat should have been the Revelations boat. Like, they could have tied it in. And maybe that's stupid for me not buff enough to be Chris, right? Not buff enough to be Chris. Well, he's kind of fluctuated. He's got some weight issues. Some body image issues. But I would have liked it to be tied more in. Like if Evelyn would have been, I think I do have spoilers. If Evelyn had been someone, like if there had been a clear lineage of like, maybe she was very clearly made by a new Umbrella, which Umbrella is back, like, new Umbrella. I'm not even clear on the story now. It's been years since 6, but give me something. Give me some ties into there. There's also some loose threads of the son who isn't even like, who somehow has resisted the mind control. And he just disappears. Where did he go? I'd love to see that. I know there's DLC coming. There's like a bunch of, maybe like 4 bonus episodes, and one focusing on the combat, which I think is I haven't even mentioned. The combat is loose and goofy and doesn't work right in a way that's perfect for Resident Evil. And I'll get rid of the spoilers. And it's so much fun. Like, towards the end, you do end up fighting quite a bit more, but you're never really... You're only you'll be worried about ammo, but you don't need to be. You get plenty of it, and if you just kill everything, they don't really respawn until certain points in the game, so it's not a big deal. You can just kill everything and have a grand old time, and it does a nice job of a later game. We took everything away, now rebuild, now have spookies again. But again, it's not very. I don't think it's very scary at all, barring a few jump scares and a few things that happen. It really, I was so bummed out by the demo. I wish I could have like a picture-in-picture of me like talking about the demo and being like so mad. Like, this is not Resident Evil. The demo was very much, oh, here's a baby doll that drops on you. Ooh, we're being spooky. And I'm like, this, and it had this dread and this, like, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was dripping with this suspense that was palpable, that it's not Resident Evil. I replayed Resident Evil 1 HD last October and was like, yeah, it misses the entire point. That demo is stupid, and I think borderline terrible in terms of what this game actually is. The game itself is incredible, and exactly what I'd want from Resident Evil. The first person view adds quite a bit to it. The enemies always, like, the guy and the girl who are kind of patrolling their areas. The guy and the girl. It doesn't become nemesis-y. You, in fact, don't have to fight them. I never even did. I've never shot them unless it was during a fight with them. Because you don't need to. You can run away. It has that style of, you can still run away. You can still conserve ammo. I want to try doing it on hard mode. The game's, I think, incredible. I don't know how they managed to do this, and I cannot wait to see in 3 years, maybe, Resident Evil 8, which is now ridiculous. I think they should stop with the numbers, but at the same time, I kind of want to see them in Final Fantasy keep counting. Just keep going up with the numbers to get ridiculous. But the next game after this, as long as they follow this formula and just make it more expanded, make this mansion even more convoluted. Don't have it rely on this. There's very clear structure to this of like, this is this area, this is this area. Make it less cohesive in that sense, so that you're on your toes. And that could be one of the best games ever made. As it stands, this is easily going to be one of my favorite games of the year, in a year that is front-loaded with a ton of great stuff. I mean, from Mass Effect to Nioh to Zelda, Persona 5, Horizon, within the first 4 months of the year. Unbelievable start to the year. So amazing. And actually, my favorite game last year was The Witness, which also came out in January. It's a good month. It's a good month for me and games. But I love it. Love the game. I'm glad to see people are liking this. It was a bummer being a Resident Evil fan and having like 6 come out. And I liked it. I mean, it's a good game, but it's got a lot of problems. And people shit all over that game. And then Revelations is like, it's a 3DS game, and they port it over and no one cares. And Revelations 2 comes out, and I love that game. It's the closest we've gotten to Resident Evil 4 since Resident Evil 4, and no one played it. Like, no one played Revelations 2. Whatever. I really hope we get Revelations 3, but even if we don't, we still got fucking Resident Evil 7, and I'm so happy that people are excited about Resident Evil again. One of my favorite series, clearly, that I like way too much. And there's tape. Oh, I gotta end it right here. I gotta end it right after this next scene, because it does these things that happen in it. They're only surprising the first time, and even you should know they're coming, and it's just so good and juicy to feel. It's like watching a movie in all its campy glory. This is especially campy, the scene before here. Don't think I finished Revelation 2. Revelation 2 is great. I think it's really good. It kind of got a little goofy with its episodic nature, but I mean, that's fine. It went a little overboard with that, and like you'd split between the two parties. And I wish they'd go back. Like, this is a nice step in that direction of you're alone, because Revelations 2 you always had a partner. You couldn't switch to them, or you could, but they didn't fight. Like, they were basically a non-combat participant, your partner, and it wasn't co-op in any way. But it kept alternating between them. It was really good in terms of the closest we got to Resident Evil 4, and it added in a dodge button, which I think this game needs. It really needs a sidestep or something, because so often I was trying to like maneuver and I couldn't see very well. I think this would be a good, especially in VR, if you could run forward and look to the side, that would be great for this game. That would add that would improve a lot of the boss fights, in particular like this one, where I'm like, where the fuck is he? I don't know. I'm spinning around trying to move. A dodge, instead of a block button, I would rather a dodge, like just a quick dodge to the side. That's what I'd rather. This fight's really cool because you can. What happens? Oh my god. That's what I'm wondering, if there's other ways. Like, there's a fight at the end, and I shot the grenade launcher with the fire rounds, and I shot the wall on accident, like I missed, and it caught the arena on fire, which doesn't have to happen. There's just a bunch of weird little touches like that. I haven't been this excited about Resident Evil since 4. I certainly haven't played a Resident Evil like this, with this fervor, since 4. I love 4. Easily top 5 games. I'm saying that a lot. Easily XYZ. top 10 games of all time is Resident Evil 4. I'm not saying this would be up there. Also, can you drop this motorcycle on him? I feel like that's got to be another way to do it. There's so many cool things. I love this part. I love this. Because when I saw this happen, I was completely blown away. Like, I don't even know what to expect. What the fuck is happening? I have no ammo in this scenario, and I'm just freaking out. I loved it. And it's very easy to dodge, but it's very suspenseful. They should get a medal. We need to get the Nobel Peace Prize on the phone. They need a medal for this game. Oh, this fight alone, such a strong opening. Like, it has a very strong opening and a very strong, like, 1 hour from start to hour 3 or 4. The strongest fucking shit. And not that the game gets worse, but you get used to it. and it doesn't affect you in the same way. Man. Dude, I'm seriously consider a replay and start to look at it from that speedrun aspect too, because you can start going like, okay, I don't need any weapons now, and if I go to the bathroom to get this key, not just in general in life, if you go, he's not going to spawn until I go over here, so I can get all these things done, and you start optimizing this route. And I do kind of like speedruns anyway, even though I'm not super great. But you start really thinking about it, and there's these like, they thought about these things. They thought about these weird layers to it. So much fun, so much stuff to do. There's, one of the DLC is going to be, I think, like a combat arena. I'm super excited for that. The combat's fun. The combat is incredibly fun. And I wish there was more of it, kind of. Like, I would have played a game with that combat system. Like, give me the amount of enemies as Resident Evil 4, and let me play that game with these mechanics. Like, incredible. Truly, truly amazing. And the more, that's the other thing too, the more I think about this game, the more I love it. The more I love it. And I was going into it so, like, very hesitant. I'm buying this as a big fan of the series, and I have to play it. Like, this is one of my games. Like, this is one of my series. I have to do it. But damn, I mean, my expectations were low because I didn't like the demo. I don't like PT, but I love the series. So, and then the reviews start coming out. Roller coaster of a week with me in Resident Evil. Fucking love it. Fucking love it. And how could you not like Resident Evil 4? You're crazy, get out of here. It's got to be in your top 10 games. Come on. What that game did for the industry. This could, in the same way that Outlast and all these games kind of started and sparked from Resident Evil, at least from an embryonic, like, horror, survival horror idea, this could spark some, like, indies to make games like this. Like, I don't really want to play Outlast, but I'll play a game like this. I'll play another game like this. They just do. Capcom knows what I want. This is Resident Evil, and this is what I want. I think that's a good place to end the review, right there. As I shove a bookcase off to the side. Yeah. Yeah, they really catered. They really did. They really catered to true fans of any of the games. Like, you can be a fan of 4 and love this. You could be a fan of 6 and love this. You could be a fan of 1 and love this game. It really kind of has all the elements in there in a perfect, like, Resident Evil soup. And it is, I don't know why they have the 7. That's not very welcoming to new fans, but the game itself is, you don't need to know nothing. You don't even need to know anything. Herbs, that could mean nothing to you. And that's fine. And that's awesome. It's awesome. Fucking love it. I want to end the show. End the show. We're playing Resident Evil. I'm fucking finish my speed run. Find all the booble heads. Boobly bobbly bobbly boobly. I just wish there was more puzzles. I would like some more puzzles. Maybe a little more intricate and detailed. Remember Resident Evil 1 when you had, like, all the different keys and all the different puzzles kind of going on at the same time? More like that. Not as ridiculous, but more like that. Just add another layer of puzzles, like a third floor, and you start going into the lab and a Metroidvania style exploration. Even saying that, that's how you make this better, I think. What we got's incredible. Incredible. This is the part of the game where you're safe. But you don't know that unless you play the game once. That's a good fucking game. That's enough. That's enough about this game. Good God. Is it good? Did Gaddy give you a hard time? Who is Zoe? I still don't even know. I still don't even know their whole relationship. Whatever. Out of control. So the only thing, this year is so worrying to me because it is very much a best of everything Ben likes year. We got Resident Evil, and then we get a new twist on the Dark Souls formula with a healthy dash of one of my favorite series, Ninja Gaiden, with Nioh. I forgot Nier is also coming out, and Zelda and Horizon and Persona, and we got a new Tales, which I'm also super into, but I'm not going to play that one. This is a banner year, and I've talked about Nioh a lot. This is footage of the Last Chance demo, whatever the hell, and it's great. You know, the more I play this game, the more I like it. Between all of the betas they've done, the alpha and the beta and this, I've played maybe 20 hours of Nioh. It comes out in like 10 days at the time of this, and I'm still excited to play more of it. It twists that Dark Souls formula just enough to get me super interested in it. In the same way like Bloodborne kind of did by speeding it up. But this adds light and heavy attacks and adds a skill tree. It adds kind of a weird, like just a different, you can feel, it doesn't feel like the Dark Souls engine, obviously, which Bloodborne and all the Dark Souls games clearly do. Like they feel molded from the same cloth. And this is inspired by that cloth. And even though it copies a lot of it, very much has its own thing. And in this Last Chance trial, or whatever the hell you want to call it, there's a couple new enemies. There's a new boss, which was phenomenal in how you fought it and learning its attacks and abilities. And this Last Chance thing also reminded me of what makes this different from Dark Souls very clearly. And that's loot. This is a loot game. This is Diablo. They took Dark Souls and they made it more aggressive, a little maybe easier and a little harder in some other ways. And they added loot. They added rare purple sword and the common blue tinted sword. You know, like they added loot all over the place to the point of where it's almost ridiculous. The amount of items and things you're picking up constantly and looking and seeing, what is this? Let me equip that. And then I got equipment weights. Like there's super huge and important amounts of minutia here. That's so much fun. And seeing, like, I've had so much of this game spoiled for me from all these alphas and betas, like 3-4 bosses, 3 areas, at least 1, 2, 3. The way it does little side missions. I love the structure of it. It isn't a cohesive world like a Dark Souls 1 through 3. It's more akin to a Demon Souls, where it's a linear level. It's a level on a map that you go to and you play. And that's different, and that's exciting. And the Japanese setting sets it apart. This is just my general hype for Nioh as it comes out on the 7th or the 9th. I don't even know. I just know it's not next Tuesday, it's the Tuesday after. And I can't wait. It adds things like this, these little demon pools that the demons can do that suck your stamina away, and you can whisk that away with like a well-timed button press. So many different things, not even like the stances, which are covered up by all my stupid graphics. The stances you can do, high, low, mid, are super important and very interesting in terms of like, well, what if I do this now, or even that. That's what's good about it. You can see the enemies and you see them using a weapon you're using. You can use a sword. They can use a sword, right? And you look at them using that sword and you know that guy's in high stance, which basically means if I get hit by it, it's going to really fucking hurt. And I do not want to get hit by it. And that's all you need for motivation. That's all you need to know. And I fucking love it. Yeah, this year, early, I was lukewarm on 2016 overall. Like, it had a lot of really good games, but nothing truly amazing. Like, I really liked The Witness. I really liked Uncharted 4. I really like Quantum Break, which no one talks about. I really like those games, but like Resident Evil 7, wow, is that an incredible game. And even what I played of Nioh, like Nioh, if it had come out last year, would have been my favorite game of last year. That's how much I like Nioh. And then we have Nier, which is, I loved the first Nier. I love Platinum. We have that. We have Persona 5, perfect JRPG little sandwich we got there. Horizon, by all accounts, I have some questionable nature with its voice acting and like weird animations I've seen, but looks to be incredible from a gameplay standpoint. And then Zelda is coming out too. And then if we get a new Mario this year, that's good. And then what if we get a new what if we get Pokemon on the Switch? What the fuck's going on? That's an incredible year. And Mass Effect and Crackdown 3 and things we don't even know about. Things we don't even know about will be happening. And that's mind-boggling. Like, what do we not know? This new South Park game's coming out. Probably not gonna play it, but I love South Park, and that's like people are super excited about that. There's For Honor, which people are excited about. There's Ghost Recon Wildlands. There's a new Assassin's Creed coming out this year. They skipped a year last year. A new one of those. There's so many things. I can't even think of any more. But at this point, Yooka-Laylee. If we want to get indie, Yooka-Laylee, Chasm. I'm excited for. Sundered is a game I previewed last week. Great Metroidvania combat focused game that's coming out this year. Rime I think looks incredible. Kind of unfortunate that Zelda's releasing before it. Sorry, Rime. But man, it's a great year. Even the first 6 months of this year, I think pound for pound is already better than last year. I'm still trying to catch up from last year's games. No shit. Ain't that the truth? I still have The Division. I played like an hour and a half of The Division I want to play, and I love it. I think that I'm playing it on PC and it looks phenomenal, and like I love that it's one of those games you can just sit there and play. I don't need to be focused on things. I like games like that sometimes. That's what I like about Nioh and Dark Souls. Haven't played that yet. What was the other game I wanted to play? I think The Division's the big one. The big one that I didn't play. Last Guardian I want to play. Even though I probably won't like it. I want to play it. Just I'll red box that. I'm not going to buy it. I still want to play that. I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 now. And I'm like 30 hours in almost. Not even halfway through it. That's a huge meaty game. There's a lot of games. I skipped over. I feel like I played a lot of the stuff last year. Maybe. I don't know. There was a ton of games. It was a weird year. It was a weird year for me. Like not a lot of the stuff I'm interested in is very clearly happening in the first 6 months of this year. Good God. They're executing on all cylinders. They as in all publishers, all developers. But I'd love to think about what else. I'm sure there's some other things, some other games I didn't mention that are coming out this year. There's rumors of a Fallout New Orleans, but I don't know about that. I don't know if I really buy that. But this is interesting too. There's a lot of games like E3 should be really big this year because of how there's a lot of stuff coming out. Like think about it from EA's perspective, right? We had Battlefield, we had Titanfall, and we have Mass Effect. What else do they have coming? A new Star Wars game? Yeah. A new Battlefront? Yes. A new Star Wars Battlefront? Yes. We're going to get both of those from EA. And other stuff. Like new stuff. We don't even know what it is yet. Prey comes out in May. That's incredible. Prey comes out. What's Bethesda going to do for the rest of the year? Last year they had Dishonored 2 in their fall thing. What's this year? Is it the Wolfenstein? Is it the Evil Within 2? Which I would love. I hope you played the Evil Within. That was a great Resident Evil style game. That's probably the last good Resident Evil 4 style game we got. But even that, like, what's Nintendo? It's clearly playing cards very close to the vest with the Switch. What do they got in store? What does Xbox have in store? Because they have Crackdown 3 and Sea of Thieves, which I don't give two shits about. What do they got going on? What's up with that? Sony is going to have something too. Like, there's so much coming out. Crossing fingers for Evil Within 2, man. I was so hoping for it last year. That was my number one thing I wanted, was like Evil Within 2. Please be Evil Within 2. It's been years. That'll be like, I think 4 years since it came out this year. At least 3. But man, that game's good shit. I hope they learned a lot from it and take it. That was a Resident. I should play that game again. That was a great game. Yeah, Prey seems sick. Love the Dead Space Bioshock. So yes, that's why I'm excited for it. That exact sentence. This looks like Bioshock in space. You sold me. You sold me. And what's cool about Prey is they actually showed gameplay for it. We've seen gameplay for it, unlike Mass Effect, which I still think is a very big question mark. I don't know. I don't buy it. It's just weird. There's some weirdness going on with Mass Effect in terms of their whole strategy, as I mentioned a while ago. There's just some weirdness, just a little dash of weirdness of like, you don't shit the bed 2 years at E3 in a row and not have something bad going on, you know. But it could be amazing. I just want to see 5 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay of that game. I'm also hoping it gets delayed because I said it was. And I don't want to be wrong, damn it. And I'll be too busy playing Zelda to care in March 21st. I'm trying to think. I don't think we'll get God of War. Probably won't come out this year. It could. Won't get that Spider-Man game. But there'll be something new from Sony. There's got to be something. Oh, the Gran Turismo. If anyone cares about Gran Turismo, there's that this year. That's coming out. In addition to probably another Call of Duty. Maybe some random who knows what else. It's a good year. This could, I think. Last year was good. And a lot of stuff, sure, whatever. Oh, Dishonored 2 is another game I want to play. This year could go down as being like a 1998. You know, like that's a 1998 is Half-Life, Metal Gear Solid, and Ocarina of Time. It could go down as being a year like that. That's what this year is. But with even more like big marquee things. And we're already seeing it with Resident Evil 7. I love it. Love what this is. And fucking Nioh. Good lord. Good lord. Oh, I love Nioh. It's not even funny. The way I loved Demon Souls, and that was what got me into the Souls games, obviously. It was the first one. But I hadn't felt like playing Nioh really made me feel like playing Demon Souls and not knowing what was around the corners and struggling to survive in this environment that was completely foreign. Like, by changing up the formula and making it a feudal Japan thing and adding demons and all these new mechanics, but keeping that core survival aspect of a Dark Souls, whew, man, is that a feeling I've missed that I haven't had since Demon Souls. Looks like it could be more enjoyable. I mean, I love Bloodborne so much, as you could probably guess. I got the platinum in Bloodborne. Fucking love it. And I think it could be, I don't know about more enjoyable, because I really enjoyed Bloodborne. That's a Sophie's choice right there. Nioh or Bloodborne. At this point, I haven't played Nioh, so I'd pick Nioh. Have to come back to that. Have to come back. Judging from what I've played, the 20 hours I have played, oh, Bloodborne's so good, especially the old hunters. I don't know. That's a tough question. Also, you can see me in my Twitch stream. This is a video of my Twitch stream. Hey, it's me. Hey. Meh, 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 meh. I'll just stand in the way. Get that weirdo out of here. I just love what they're doing with it. They're taking that formula. Like, this isn't Lords of the Fallen, which just kind of shittily like copied it. And they didn't even, like, there was no soul to it. It didn't feel like its own thing. It just felt like a copy. And it was good enough. I didn't beat it. I got to a certain point where it was like, you just don't get it. Like, you guys just don't fucking get it. You don't get it. You don't get what Souls was. You copied it, but you didn't copy its soul. It's like a weird religious thing now. But this looks like they did. And Team Ninja knows their shit. I love Ninja Gaiden. Well, 2 and 3, I guess. 1, it was too hard. I'm a baby. But I love those games. And I love games like Devil May Cry and all that stuff. So I was like, this is the perfect melding. And Bloodborne was phenomenal. Bloodborne was so good. That's the toughest decision anyone's ever... Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. Like his weird little hand thing. Bow. Get my mouse off screen. Well, I'm going to end the show here in a minute, but unless you have something else to ask or to add in, we can talk about anything. I know Will, my mod from my other channel, who floats around, would enjoy if I went long. And Nioh also has all the cool armor and like different, like you just loot sets, and there's equipment modification. There's so many other layers. And I don't think it's a lot of them are going to work. I think the skill tree is convoluted as fuck. It's all over the place. But the rest of the core gameplay is fine. The skill tree, which is a pile of nonsense, I don't necessarily need to get into. But there was a thought there before the train left the tracks. There was a thought there. It was going somewhere. It was going, and it went way away. It did not stay around. Nope. No siree, did it. Did it? Plus those dual katanas. I mean, come on. Come on. That's my kind of thing. Alright, starting the outro. I do this show every Friday, usually to no one, so thanks for hanging out. Get maybe 3 more views on YouTube. Every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Twitch.tv/TheGameFanatics. I stream on my own Twitch, twitch.tv/BenReacts. I do Mario Maker on Saturday and Sunday, and then whatever random garbage on Wednesday during the day. This last Wednesday was Resident Evil. Could you guess that? Where I played through the beginning of the game again. And fucking, that was when I realized, oh, there's something really good here, because this is still a real fun time. And I think that's the whole outro. Merry Christmas. This is a Cyclops. He's not nice. This game's brutal. That's the thing it takes from Dark Souls and kind of goes harder. Like, this game can fuck you up. It does not care in a way that I haven't seen. Like, more consistently does it not care about you than Dark Souls does. Especially 3, which is less you get fucked than Nioh, or than the other Souls games. Anyway, did I say Merry Christmas? I did. I'm pretty sure I did.